Yeah, which could actually work in his favor because guys are so used to seeing pitches that are like 98, 99, and 100. And when you have a
Mhm.
guy throwing below 90, you kind of don't know what to do.
His average fastball, this is the average of his fastball, is 86.2 miles an hour.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's amazing. Also amazing. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKee. And Brian, there you are.
Amazingly strong, but how are you?
I am good. I'm good. The AL East preview went up on our channel on Monday, which I told everyone was happening. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And yeah, today we're going to do something different. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. On today's show, we'll catch you up on what you may have missed over the weekend and on Monday around the league. There's a lot of stuff happening. We'll let you know how the Yankees fared against the Mets in Port St. Lucie. But first, the Yankees signed a living human being to join the bullpen.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what winds up, who I guess is the one who gets cut of the 40-man roster to fit this man. But Yankees announced earlier that Ryan Yarbrough will be joining the team. 1-year deal for $2.5 million, has a chance to get to $3 million with escalators of $500,000. Like the best way I can describe Ryan Yarbrough is high upside, good stuff, but just a major leaguer, right?
Mhm.
A bullpen piece that's going to be able to give you length. I think there's a little bit of concern with the fact that you got a couple guys that you don't know how much length they're going to give you towards the bottom of the rotation. So you're going to need some long relief guys. It's just some insurance, just some protection. I don't hate this move at all. The only thing that's fascinating about him is very, very low velocity.
Yeah, which could actually work in his favor because guys are so used to seeing pitches that are like 98, 99, and 100. And when you have a guy throwing below 90, you kind of don't know what to do.
His average fastball, this is the average of his fastball, is 86.2 miles an hour, which is the third lowest in baseball. 86, which is crazy.
That's like 100 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like 15 years ago, 86 miles an hour felt slow. Now compared to what guys are throwing, it's insane. This is a good 10 miles an hour below the major league average for fastballs.
Yeah.
Crazy low speed, but it apparently works for him. He's got a 16% K rate. He does throw guys off. He also has a 3/4 arm slot. So it kind of does fool batters a little bit, the way it's coming in a little slower than usual, but also from an angle. I don't hate I don't know how you can hate this move. I don't know how you can have a problem with it. I'm just curious to see who they're gonna trade or move off the 40-man roster.
Yeah, I have some friends who were, poo-pooing the move. I'm calling them out now because they listen to my show. I won't call them out by name, but they know who they are. What do you expect the Yankees to do? What's out there for them to get? That's who else was out there for them to get? This move is perfectly cromulent, as they say on The Simpsons. And I liked what he said. He opted out of his Blue Jays spring invite deal, went to the Yankees. He said he chose the Yankees over other clubs because he likes the way the pitching coach works his magic with pitchers, and he wanted to see if Matt Blake could work his magic with him.
It's clearly that message has gotten around the league, right? Clearly what Matt Blake's done for multiple guys at this point has gotten around the league, and that's got to give the Yankees some satisfaction too. People don't realize, I forget the actual salary number at the moment. I don't know if you can look it up or not because I don't remember it at all, but the Yankees paid Matt Blake the most money that any coach has ever been paid besides a manager, underneath the manager, to leave Vanderbilt and go over to the Yankees. And they clearly found that worth it because of the magic that he's had at Vanderbilt with transforming pitchers, really building their careers. Remember, a lot of guys have come out of Vanderbilt, the top tier picks in the big leagues. So clearly that word has gotten around baseball. Now, whether you're going to give the pitching coach credit or not for what he does, I don't think it's much of a doubt at this point, Stacey. Matt Blake, if he wanted to, could probably be a manager in Major League Baseball right now. I think if he made it known around baseball, around circles in baseball, that he wants to manage and he wants to be coaching out there, I think he'd leave his Yankee job. The problem is the Yankees are able to pay him more as a pitching coach than a lot of teams are willing to pay him as a manager. Right. So, the Yankees do have that flexibility, but I think that was part of the reason, and I think that's part of why Brian Cashman was so insistent on getting Matt Blake over to the Bronx, because he knows what this guy's capable of. It showed its way in Vanderbilt, and it's showing its way here in the big leagues. And it's a big deal when players are publicly saying they opted out of their spring training deal to be able to sign with the Yankees because they want to see what Matt Blake can do for their career. It's not like Ryan Yarbrough had a terrible year last year, by the way. In 44 games of the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, which is 98 innings, Stacey had a 3.19 ERA. That's perfectly fine. That's not a bad ERA at all. The fact that he wasn't on a roster to me is wild. This just shows the problem with baseball too. Is you're telling me the Rockies couldn't use a guy like that? You're a 3.19 ERA. You're telling me the Pittsburgh Pirates couldn't have used a guy like that? Crazy to me to think about. But opting out of his deal to go to a team like the Yankees and wanting to fix his stuff to be with Matt Blake, pretty impressive endorsement for Matt Blake.
The other thing, besides being with the Dodgers, he was with the Rays for a few seasons. So between the Rays, the Jays, and now the Yankees, he's mostly been with the AL East throughout his career, which helps. I know they don't play their AL East opponents as much, but he has some familiarity with the AL East, and he has seen what it's like to pitch at Yankee Stadium from the other side. So it'll be interesting for him to do it as a Yankee. I don't hate this deal at all. I really don't. I was kind of surprised when I saw the news because I was like, oh, they actually did something. But again, there's not much to do. There's nothing really there for them to get. And no, they're not getting Trevor Bauer. Stop leaving it in the comments. I just have to put that out here. Just stop.
There's Lance Lynn. Do you want a peek at that? You know what I mean? Like that's what's left right now.
Yeah.
And again, this is a middle relief bullpen guy who has the ability to be a starter. I think it does sound like from the quotes that he would love to move back into a starter role at some point in his career. But I think Ryan Yarbrough sees this as a chance that Matt Blake can turn him back into a starter. Matt Blake can give him the Michael King treatment, where Michael King came back and as a bullpen relief arm, and the Yankees were like, screw it, his stuff's so good, we're going to make him a starter. And last year he was in Cy Young contention with the Padres because of how good his starts were. So Ryan Yarbrough clearly has the talent. And again, he feels like his career needs a pick-me-up and needs a change to it. And that's after coming off of 3.19 ERAs in the season. He's talking like a guy that came off a 7 ERA. Right. So, that I think this is impressive too. It's a motivated player that's coming in that wants to be a part of a winning culture. Either way, I don't think this is a problem for the Yankees. If Stroman falls off, if Will Warren's just not ready, if the injured pitchers that are coming back for some reason are not able to make it back on time, Ryan Yarbrough can solve that problem for you. And if those guys all come back on time and everything works out, Ryan Yarbrough is a really good middle relief guy out of your bullpen. That's the thing too. I'm very curious to see towards the end of this week, once the rosters are released and once they've made their decisions on the rosters, there are some interesting decisions coming out of camp. There are, and more interesting to me is who they're naming starters and stuff. Because none of the competitions that we've seen going on in camp, Stacey, and I don't know if you have a differing opinion, no one to me has clear cut made their name as this guy definitely has to be the starter. He's claimed. I don't see it. Nothing out of the third base position. It's a weird spot that we're in. We've seen guys definitely play their way on the roster, but guys that have come in and just taken the starting role, that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I think this move is low risk, high reward.
Completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, to my friends who are poo-pooing it, stop poo-pooing it. Stop poo-pooing everything the Yankees are doing. They're doing what they can with what they have. Okay. And you know what? I actually feel hopeful going into opening day. I don't feel like other Yankee fans feel, because they're just completely filled with dread because of no Garrett Cole. And it's understandable because Garrett Cole is the ace. But without Garrett Cole, if you look at this team, they're not bad with the roster that they're going to have. They're just not. And I can't stand when people act like this team's going to win 60 games. It's just ridiculous.
I hear both ends of it. Like I don't agree with the doom and gloom people who think the season's over. They're going to be a competitive baseball team this year.
Sure. I
don't see how they won't be. If this was the team that was coming in and they had missed out on Garrett Cole in free agency years ago, I wouldn't hate this team at all.
Right.
I really would. So like it's just, I understand the doom and gloom people that are coming too, because I don't see how they win a World Series without Garrett Cole.
I wasn't saying World Series because I don't. No.
But that's the expectation that we've all placed on them for whatever reason, because they went to the World Series last year, and we still like to hold on to the George mantra of World Series or bust, or it's a failure.
Right.
I am curious to see what this team is able to do. We've seen crazier bleep happen over the years, though. Right? I mean, we have. Look at the injuries the Dodgers had to their staff last year, and they still wound up winning the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? You don't know what guys are going to take off and have unbelievable seasons. Let it play out a little bit before you start hating life already.
Right. Exactly. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, any roster moves, breaking news like the Yarborough signing. We did that this morning, so you don't have to check social media. There is a 14-day free trial. So coming up next, the Yankees and the Mets played. Let's tell you how they did.
When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. And that's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine. They're all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. Now, he's using it before his workouts, and right after the show, I've got my Peloton workout, and I've got the pre-workout from Just Ingredients ready. Strawberry lemonade. It couldn't be better, and it gets me perfectly ready for my workouts. And I love that Just Ingredients prioritizes wholesome, nourishing ingredients without all the artificial junk. Whether you're recovering after a workout or you need the energy boost, their grass-fed whey protein is pre-workout deliver. It always gives me results. Visit justingredients.us and use code ONEWORD-LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off your order. And for more wellness tips, just follow at just.ingredients on Instagram. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's very easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Now, Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending, all available in one place, so you can stop just managing your money and start building your wealth. Now, when I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery, and now I budget smarter and I save way more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, I use Monarch Money to check my finances, track spending, and even plan for my long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever, too. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all the stress. So take control of your finances at Monarch Money. Use code ONEWORD-LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code ONEWORD-LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Remember that every Friday is Fan Mail Friday. You can leave questions underneath our pinned comment in the videos Monday through Thursday, or you can join that Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Those fans get top priority during Fan Mail Friday. The link's in our description. So, Stacey, the Yankees played the Mets today in Port St. Lucie in the most meaningless of meaningless games. But I do want to say, with the way this game went, and you're going to give us a little bit of a breakdown in a second, with the way this game went, if the Yankees and the Mets ever met up on opening day, and this is how the game went, oh boy, would New York radio and New York podcasts and everything imaginable be must listen the next day, because Mets fans would be talking up a storm the next day, and Yankee fans would be doom and gloom. The asteroid is coming to blow us up if this is how a game went between them in the regular season. Thank God no one cares. It's the preseason.
Why? Because it ended in a tie and the Yankees gave up 3 runs in the
because it ended with Brandon Nimmo getting up hitting a 3-run shot to tie the game, but basically call it a walk-off. I'm sure if it's the regular season, Brandon Nimmo hits a grand slam here to walk it off. Just the Spencer Jones home run. Like, there's so many narratives here where New York fans could
Judge wasn't playing. Like, most of the regulars weren't playing. Who cares?
Well, I'm just saying, if these two teams match up, I don't care. No one cares. I'm saying if these two teams matched up in a regular season game and it went like this, people would lose their minds. Their minds.
Yeah, FAN would be more unlistenable than it already is. Just kidding.
Yep. Wow. Okay.
I've said that many times. I can't. It's mostly the listeners that I can't handle listening to because of the things that they come up with and want to talk about. It's like, do you actually watch sports? Like, how are you coming up with some of these scenarios that you want to ask these guys about? Like, how did you deal with that?
I mean, listen, sometimes they created their own content though, because the listeners would come on and say something so absurd that it brings a reaction out of the host. Right. That's where you really get entertaining radio. So I had a few meltdowns over the years.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. Because, you know, when I went to school, it was recommended that I do radio. I was told I had a very nice voice, and my radio professor way back in community college said, you would be great at doing radio. I know you love sports. You know, it's the 90s. Things are getting better for women. Maybe you should try it. He's like, you're going to have to, you know, start in like, you know, Bumblebee, Minnesota, something like that. And I just didn't do it. And I also didn't do it because even back then I listened to FAN and I listened to it with my father in the car. And I listened to some of the things that the guys were, because it was mostly men calling in with these silly scenarios and silly trade scenarios. And I just sit there and go, like, can't they have an IQ requirement for some of these calls? Like,
I will say the best time to be entertained on sports radio, but equally the most frustrating time once you're a host, is MLB trade deadline season. Because sports topic wise, it's pretty dead. The only thing that's going on is Yankees and Mets, and the people that will wait all day to make a phone call to give you the most ludicrous trade proposal that for 1,000 reasons would never happen. The amount of, why don't you trade this bullpen pitcher for Bryce Harper? Like things that I heard, it was mind-boggling. Some of them are funny. The problem is they're not ever called in with the intention of humor. They're always called in with a very serious, like, this is a real trade proposal, and then you have to walk it back as the host.
Here's the thing. It's 2025, right? You have so many different resources now, right? You don't have to depend just on a newspaper that you buy in a, you know, like, you can go online. There are tons of websites with analysis and essays and all this different stuff that you can read, and people who spell things out for you very nicely, you know? When I worked with Baseball Prospectus, they had me do the trade analysis, the transaction analysis when the Yankees got Sonny Gray, you know? So we had to go through all different, and I just can't understand how people still do the same silly things on the radio, talking about the listeners, the same crazy trade proposals that would never happen in a million years, with all of these resources at your fingertips, literally on your phone. I don't understand.
National pastime. Never gets old, right? Never gets old. I don't miss it. It's a lot less stressful doing this. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I can imagine. So as you said, Spencer Jones went deep, and so did Pablo Reyes. He was 3 for 3. Yeah, Stroman started. He gave up 2 home runs, so he helped.
Major problem for him in spring, by the way. The home run ball's been a problem for him.
Yeah, 2 home runs in 3 and 2/3 innings is not great. 2 walks and 4 strikeouts, okay, in 3 and 2/3 innings. As we said, the game finished in a tie. Soto went 0 for 2. Whatever. The Yankees will play the Marlins today in Lone Depot Park in Miami, and then they will head home for a practice day tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday, it's opening day. It's here. Can you believe it?
Do you have any idea why some teams do that, where they play one exhibition game in their home stadium before the season starts? I know in 2009, the Yankees and Mets did it. No idea why. The Nationals usually do it for whatever reason, and it feels like the Marlins every year do it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either. And it's funny because when the Yankees and Mets played those exhibition games in 2009 to open up the new stadiums, I was actually in Boston.
Oh, wow.
And the Mets were playing Boston, and the Yankees were playing the Cubs. So I was able to watch the Mets and Boston, and this was before I could find other stuff on TV to watch the Yankees. But my brother went to the game.
They've done those games mainly for training purposes, like for stadium staff to get them up and ready and stuff when it's a new ballpark. But these stadiums
and
aren't
also, new. That was April 3rd of 2009. that game, that Cubs Yankees game, I remember. And they didn't open at home till April 16th. So there was a big gap there. Plus the Pope was going to be there the week before. It was like a whole thing in 09. And my brother went to the game and he took pictures from our new seats because we weren't sure where, they had stuck us in the outfield and they weren't bad. We sat there for the first 2 seasons that we had the seats and then we just kept moving around the upper deck in the new stadium because it's really hard when you went from the old stadium where we were above the dugout, 5 rows above the dugout in the upper deck. And the home run trajectory was this way. You see it in front of you to this way in front of you because we were in the outfield. I would know it was a home run because the crowd would cheer. You couldn't see it land because we were in section 305. You couldn't even see the field from our seats. You couldn't see right field. So it took a while for me to figure out when a ball was going to be a home run and when it wasn't. That took a few. Games.
You got to be careful with the crowd reactions though, because the modern day baseball fan has got a lot dumber over the years when it comes to judging pop flies. Because the amount of foul balls in the outfield where
no, I mean the roar once it lands in the
like
I had to wait for that to happen and then I'd know it was a home and the siren and whatever. That's what I would know. But I would jump up and it's a fly ball. It was.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not. I never understand, and this happens every year where there's an exhibition game played. I never understand why they do it. I don't. It never makes sense to me.
I thought the Yankees were playing 2 games at Miami when everything first came out. And I must have, I don't know what the heck I was reading. And I don't know why I got confused with that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. They'll play in Miami before they go home. And then I saw it was 1 game and they're playing the Mets. So I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Whatever. So schedule for the week. Off day Wednesday, practicing Thursday, then off day Friday. Obviously, if it's rainy, it's not supposed to be rainy, but it's not supposed to be warm. It's supposed to be like a high of 50, overcast. Not a great day for baseball. So bundle up.
It's March.
Yeah, bundle up if you're going, just in case. But no rain in the forecast yet, so the game should be in. And it's a 3:05 start, which is also odd. I don't understand that. But.
Yeah, no, actually, no 1 o'clock opening day games. The Yankees are the first game played at 3 o'clock, and I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. What's crazy too is it doesn't help people out with getting there from work. I know a lot of people have said that. Oh, people get out of work. No one gets out of work at 2.
No,
so it's not really helping people out either. So I don't understand what they're doing with this. It makes no sense to me.
No, the start that helps people when they get out of work, obviously, is the 6:35 start. When
I love the 6:35 start.
They're so great, and then you're out early. You're not stuck there till 11 o'clock. It's great.
The best.
It's wonderful. All right, coming up next, we're going to catch you up on some news from around the league, including Mookie Betts is having a really big issue since Japan. We'll talk about it next.
March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down those nets at the end of the tournament. Now, I've got an eye on a few underdogs. You can still get them before the Sweet 16 starts, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. And with tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. You got 4 more rounds to go, so it can't get more better. And also, the FanDuel app is so simple to use. It's easy and fast. When I win, I get paid out instantly. There's no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long.
I couldn't believe this news when I saw it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I gasped so loud that I scared my cat because it just was unreal to me. By now you all know, because it's Tuesday, that Brett Gardner's youngest son, Miller, passed away. He was 14 years old. He was on vacation with family members. A bunch of them got sick, and he passed away from whatever illness he had. I don't have children, but I can't even imagine what it's like to lose your 14-year-old. When you're 14, you feel like you're invincible. You feel like, you're so much older than the little kids, and you don't realize how much life you actually have ahead of you when you're 14. And when you're older and looking at someone that young pass away, it is absolutely tragic.
Yeah, devastating news. Hard to really not feel horrible for Brett Gardner. I mean, especially a guy that, played so many years, set himself up really nicely financially for the rest of his life. And then, to have a young family like this, be retired and a well-respected guy around the baseball community, and this to happen, a guy that you would think is ready to start enjoying life and moving forward in his life, to have this happen, really, really just disheartening, upsetting, whatever adjective you can come up with. Really just feel horrible. And our condolences here obviously go out to Brett Gardner.
Yeah. The guys on the broadcast on Sunday had a really hard time. Joe Girardi was his manager for a really long time. And, he was there when Miller was born. And to hear his voice and how upset he was, obviously, because we always joke about how long a baseball season is, but think about how close these guys get and how together they are and their families are together. Even Carlos Mendoza from the Mets, he played with Gardner when they were minor leaguers. He coached him with the Yankees. He was visibly upset in his press conference when he mentioned it. He made it a point to open up his press conference on Sunday and say, I want to give my condolences to Brett and Jessica. And you just see how much this affects everyone, because baseball is a family. Like, even if you play for other teams, it's a big brotherhood and it's a giant family. And this is it's so heartbreaking. I feel terrible for them. Yes, our condolences to them. I don't know how you go through this. And, when I saw the picture of him, because the last time I saw Miller in a picture, he was maybe like 3 or 4. And he looks so much like Brett with his smile, and it was just thoughts and prayers to the Gardner family, and as they try to get through this, because
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's just heartbreaking news. Hard to read, hard to see. We wish them obviously all the best. To baseball news on the diamond. No easy way to transition from that, but we'll do our best. Shane McClanahan, he will start the year on the IL. He's coming off the Tommy John surgery. They said he has nerve irritation in his triceps. The Rays don't believe it to be serious, but he hasn't pitched since August of 2023. So I'd be a little concerned if I was a Rays fan, no?
Yeah. Especially because the Rays are the team that had so many guys go down. They had like 6 guys have Tommy John or the brace, and McClanahan is I think he was one of the last ones to have it happen, because you had Glass now, you had him. It's just, it's good that it's just nerve irritation, but they really have to be careful with that, because you never know what's going
100%. So the official MLB power rankings came out. Not many surprises, but a few, especially with the way the Yankees dropped. Stacey, so the Dodgers opened up at the top. Obviously, I mean, hard to assume they wouldn't. The Yankees, I think, are the news in this whole thing. Though they dropped 6 spots below to the 10th spot now in the MLB power rankings. They are behind the Red Sox and the Orioles. They dropped these 6 spots. They were the 4 team. They dropped 6 spots after the Cole injury news came out. Worthy, you think, or no?
Possibly. I mean, maybe they're just thinking, let's see what they do without Cole, and they'll probably
hard to really judge these too much. And we tried throughout last season. I think we'll probably hold the same pattern this year. We're not going to bring these up once a week. We'll bring them up every now and again, see where teams are, and that's about it. Because it's hard to trust in the baseball season.
Maybe like monthly.
And the baseball season is so fluid with the standings move. It's really hard to judge these teams week by week. A funny story. So as you guys know, it was officially announced, but they were trying for it all year and going for it all summer. Jose Altuve is going to be the starting left fielder for the Houston Astros on opening day. Crazy stuff. What's crazier is this stat, though. On opening day, he'll become the shortest left fielder in Major League Baseball history. No one under the height of 5'7" has ever started in left field in the major leagues, which is a crazier stat. And here's even wilder, Stacey. I did the research, so I confirmed it myself. He is the second shortest outfielder ever to play baseball, ever. Obviously, behind the great long time, you all remember him, Willie Keeler. He was the Yankees right fielder, as you guys all remember, from 1892 to 1910. And he's listed as the shortest outfielder in Major League history as a right fielder. Jose Altuve will take his mantle. So, a record that stood for a while, Willie Keeler. Sad to see that record go away for him.
To be fair, he wasn't a Yankee in 1892 because they weren't around in 1892. He also played with the Dodgers and the Giants. But I love his name, Willie Keeler. That's
very
perfect.
1800s baseball name. But yeah, he was with the Yankees for a while. I meant to mention he's a former Yankee great, but was with the Yankees for a while, also a Dodger and a Giant. So New York through and through.
So long ago, 1892 to 1910.
1910 he stopped playing. Yeah. So, but he was short. He was short. He made a career for himself. So there's hope for Altuve out there. Hasn't happened in 100 years, but there's hope. Mookie Betts, this is a crazy story. He didn't play in the 2 games in Japan, Stacey, where the Dodgers opened the season against the Cubs out there. Everyone was kind of wondering what it was. He has some kind of stomach bug that he explained in the some interview that he did at Dodger Stadium. He's got some kind of weird stomach bug. He can't hold down any food, any drink, anything. He says that he's lost like 20 pounds since he's gotten the stomach bug last week, which is an insane amount of weight for a professional athlete to lose in that amount of time.
Especially someone like him. He's not even that big.
He went from 175 to 155, and 155 for a professional athlete is slim, because that 175, but that 175 is a lot of muscle on him. So I mean, that is a crazy amount of weight to lose. Can't keep down solid foods. I mean, I wonder what the heck this could be, because that is a crazy stomach bug. I've never had a stomach bug that's lasted for that long.
Yeah, no, because it was the report out of Japan was that he had already lost 10 in the first week that he had it. And I thought, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's 20. They tested him for, I don't know what they tested him for, but they said that the test came out normal. And I said, well, things can't be normal if this man can't eat solid food and he can barely keep down liquids. Like, you don't lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks if things are normal. So we'll see what's going on with him. But that is, some people were joking about the first 10 pounds, but then when the news came out that he lost the second 10 pounds, they're like, oh, all right, something really serious and bad is happening here. He couldn't even stay in Japan. He had to come back to the United States.
He didn't even stay in Japan.
Yeah.
He's back in the U.S. now, which is crazy stuff. So that's going to be a weird one to follow. I wonder if he'll start on opening day for them. I mean, I have a hard time believing at this point he'll even get to play, just because he's got to get his muscle mass back up at this point.
Yeah, I think he might have to go on the IL, because that is, and plus they still don't know what's going on with him. And if he ends up losing any more weight, I mean,
it's going to be a serious problem. Yeah.
You know, at that point, it might be like a tapeworm or a parasite or something that they're going to find, because what else would be causing that? Yeah, that's way too much. Especially, like we said, he's small already. For, you know what I mean? It's not like Aaron Judge going from 282 to 262. This man is going from 175 to 155 in 2 weeks. That is
it's an alarmingly low weight.
Yeah, that's crazy. And as for Altuve, I had joked about this when spring training started. I said, is he like the shortest guy to ever play the outfield? Because I don't ever remember guys being short in the outfield. Not that you see a lot of guys making wall catches, but for the most part, you see guys who are relatively tall playing out there.
I guess they don't find it like that big of a deal because of the Crawford boxes. Like, no one's robbing a home run in left field at the Astros Stadium anyway. But it is good. I don't understand the motivation of moving him from second base to, usually it's the other way around. Usually you go from the outfield into the infield once you get older. And he's going into the outfield the older he gets. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, and it's not like he's bad at second base. So
no, and he's not known as a guy who has a bullet of an arm either. Like putting him in the outfield too. I don't understand this move. We'll see how it works out, but a position change at this point in your career is odd, to say the least.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast with hosts Dominic Martino and Matthew Ane. MLB Fantasy Draft season is here. Opening day is only a few days away, so be the most informed fan and set your up. Do that again. MLB Fantasy Draft season is here. Opening day is in a few days, so be the most informed fan and set yourself up for a league win. You can find Locked On Fantasy Baseball on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.